Okay, this is pretty nifty. My name is Anna Burgoyne. I am a journalism student here at NKU. I did my internship at Class X Radio. So here we go. Anna the Intern. Class X is a nonprofit radio station based out of Middletown, Ohio. I had no radio experience before this internship, and I'm a journalism major that really has never thought about a career in radio. I was originally hired as an intern on Wild Man Walker's new sports show. My first day was the show's first day. I've been with them since the very beginning. I worked in the studio. I had a chair, a small table, which actually was it's a file cabinet, and I was expected to scan the news stations and sports tickers for interesting things to talk about. Again, I'd like to note that I've worked with them since January 2013 until this November. A lot of things I talk about happened at the beginning of the internship. This is me and the Class X crew at a backstage event. Okay, so Wildman Walker. If you're familiar with Cincinnati sports radio, you know who Wildman is. Wildman is a radio personality. He was on WEBN's Dawn Patrol for 26 years, and he's come under fire for a lot of comments that he's made on air. He is a #1 know-it-all with no filter when it comes to sports in Cincinnati. The beginning. I began as a news intern. Scores, answering the phone, small things, almost anyone can do. After 2 weeks, I was offered the job as the show's producer. That is the quickest promotion I've ever gotten. So now I run the boards, I set up the show's playlist, I talk on air, I am an on-air personality from time to time, and I call the shots. Like, I put the commercials on, I tell Wildman when he needs to stop talking, when he's gone over, which he hates, but I've got the power. So I love my job. I mean, I get to do cool stuff all the time. I feel really cool in the big girl chair with my pink headphones and having all the power at my fingertips to put things through the airwaves. So the Wildman Walker Show. It was a challenge and a joy. Working with somebody as knowledgeable and as well known as him can definitely be a challenge, and it can definitely be a gift. He knows a lot about radio, but he doesn't get technology. He thinks that anything that I'm doing, a computer could do, which isn't true. He also comes from a different generation. We had some communication difficulties, and I find him offensive sometimes. But because of the show, I got to do a lot of cool things. And my skin got a lot thicker. I don't take everything that he says personally anymore, and it's something that is really going to help me in the future. The coolest thing I got to do was co-star a float in the opening day parade. Me and Wildman sat on the float with this guy. It's called the One Man Electrical Band, and he played music while we were going through the streets, and we were the coolest float there. I swear, we were so cool. But I felt like a princess, like waving to everybody. So the middle. I was given another show to produce, the Class X Pet Connection and Rescue Show with newbie Debbie Manning. It was my favorite. I loved it. Debbie had never worked in radio, so I took the reins completely. I picked all the songs, I did everything. And I got to bring my dog to work, which was the coolest part. He would just hang out with us in the studio with her dog Bach, and luckily he doesn't bark much, so can't really hear him on air, but I know he's there. PCR is an interesting show. It taught me that radio has a lot of power, and also that radio can get a little weird. Look at that picture there, you can see that we interviewed a bearded dragon once, and we got lots of cute little visitors, like this little puppy down here. That puppy was adopted because of PCR. And we saved a lot of lives, which is just so cool. Like, we did a lot of good with our show. So the end. When I announced my decision to leave Class X, I was offered a paid position producing Eric Dietrich's morning show. I turned it down for a few reasons. Mainly because the money wasn't enough to cover my gas driving to the studio, but also because that meant that they could have been paying me the entire time. And they had me doing a job that everybody else was getting paid for, so they were using me. I'm okay with it because I got a lot out of my internship, but it would have been nice to get paid for it. But I still go back and I guest produce, and I have a job waiting for me if I ever decide to move to Middletown. Debbie cried when I told her I was leaving. So I mean, I made a lot of friends, and I did a lot of things there that I wouldn't have gotten to do otherwise. High points. Getting a producing job within 2 weeks was definitely my high point. I also got backstage passes to shows. I was in the opening day parade, the offer for a paid position, made a lot of great connections and even better friends, and I learned a lot about radio. Um, Everything that I learned, I'm going to put forth somewhere else in my life. My low points, though, there are a lot of those too. Wild Man talking down to me was one of them. I know that he didn't mean to be mean, but he doesn't understand women at all. He just didn't get the things he said to me were offensive and hurtful. But my skin is thicker now, and I just things like that just roll off my back. Um, I also was really hurt by watching stories that I felt were important get skipped because of Wild Man. He's has an attitude. Like when the Boston bombings happened, we didn't cover it because he didn't believe that running is a sport and that all it gets is heavy lungs and red faces. And I felt like that was a disservice to the city of Cincinnati. But out of all of these things, I grew, and I'm grateful for them. In 5 years, I hope to be doing something, but probably not radio. Radio is awesome, but I really want to be a lawyer. That was one thing I learned. I mean, I love what I do, but I don't love it enough to do it forever. And I also don't think I can make enough money doing radio. It's just such a dying industry. I have a lot of fun doing what I did, but it's just not for me. But that's about my internship, and I am really grateful for this semester, and I hope that you enjoyed my presentation.